Okay, let's go again. This is going to be 8 racks. Because we were kind of talking about it in Terran discussion. My kids are watching a movie in the background, by the way, so you guys might hear some noise or an occasional kitten meowing. We were talking about it in Terran discussion, and again, I'm just going to preface this video like all my other ones. I'm by no means the best Terran player. That goes for on ladder and in custom games and the people that are posting in the CPL Terran discussion. These are just my opinions. I'm not telling you that you have to follow them. This is just the way I do things and the way that I think, and you can disagree and don't have to watch. So, I like to 8 racks pretty often versus Zerg. I actually think that the build might be one of the strongest builds in the game, especially if there is a link tight spawn available. For instance, on this map, this is the only link tight spawn on the map. I'm pretty sure there's a way to do one here if you do it perfectly, but I know you can't do it here, right? You're gonna have a gap because you're gonna go depot, barracks. You're gonna have a gap, and same on this side, right? Depot, barracks. But here on this spawn, you can go depot, and you can build the barracks underneath, and it's link tight. It's my opinion that versus Zerg, if you can make a link tight wall, there's no reason that you shouldn't 8 racks unless you just don't want to, because it's almost inconsequential for Terran. You know, you go and you're scouting, and let's say it's 9 pool. Okay, well, lift the barracks, put it behind your link tight wall, defend with 1 marine, and take the CC. You know, I mean, what's the consequence? It's actually overpowered in my opinion, and I think that's why on new maps they're pretty much just taking it away. But I also like to do it on just in general. So, and I think the early mining for 8 racks is there's one thing, like I said in my last video I made, which was a TVP video. I boosting is whatever. I don't really think you should worry about it. But you should send each SCV to its own individual patch, okay? So for like really new people, if you have an SCV mining this patch and you have an SCV coming out, don't send an SCV to mine the same patch. Just send it to this one. And so you can see all mine are mining independent patches. Okay. And there's one thing I'll note here about the way that I do this is some people will send this SCV that comes out to go do it, to make the barracks, your 7th SCV. I send the 7th SCV to mine, and then I send an SCV that returns a mineral shortly after to go make the 8 racks. And it actually makes a huge difference, because if you just send the SCV, like your 7th SCV, to go make it, it'll actually be sitting down here for a while waiting. And so it's better just to mine a little bit. So my rule of thumb basically is like I send the 7th SCV to go mine, and then the next SCV after that one goes to mine that returns a mineral. I take that one and I send it back. And I know that might seem inconsequential, but it makes the depot a little bit faster. It kind of just all adds up. So this is the way that I do it. Don't make the 8 racks too far away. Just, make it so you can float it back if you need to. I'm going to put it here because my thought on putting it a little further out here is that if the Overlord is coming this way, it might not see it. I mean, it's going to figure out that something's going on, right? Because it's going to see a depot and no barracks. But, just any delay I can get in the Zerg knowing what's going on, the better. Same with the depot. So I'm going to make my 8th, my SCV here, my 9th SCV. And I'm going to, after I start this SCV, I take the next one that returns a mineral to go make the depot. Looks like I waited for a couple there. But, so I could have sent it a little bit earlier, okay? I know I'm kind of like being really detailed about this, and it's like, well, it's just an 8 racks, but the opening is really important, okay? So this is the way that I do it. Both these SCVs are going to go scout after this, okay? So, and I'm going to make workers continuously. This is a macro build. It's not an all-in. If you want to pull the boys and make it an all-in, feel free. So I'm going to send this SCV building the depot is going to finish first before the barracks is finished. So I'm going to send this SCV up here, And then when this SCV is done, I'm going to send this SCV over here. I'm going to start making Marines. So we'll go ×4 until we get there. We'll go ×8. So who wants to wait? As I go scout with these, I'm going to send this SCV that finishes. I just rally it down here so that I don't forget to go make the next depot. So that's just rallied. It's going to go. And I'm going to make the next depot. And I like to make it the wall on an angle. I do that on purpose. You don't have to do that. You can make it straight. I just like to put a little angle in here so that like I can tuck the bunker like on this side maybe if it's going to be lurkers or something. And I actually think this is probably a bad spot to put a bunker because the muta's just going to come over the cliff and murder it unless you have like a factory floated or something. But this is just the way that I like to do it. But you can also make it straight. It's not that big of a deal. So SCV's here. Sees the hatchery. I knew this drone was coming, so it's not shooting me. I just started targeting it. He turns around. Then I bring, and I do this the same way every time, guys. I know I'm going to make at least 3 Marines, and so I kind of just pool them. And I have the barracks rallied onto this Marine right here. So I just have this right-clicked onto this Marine, so all the Marines come and follow him. And what I always do is I take my first SCV and I send it into the main. Okay, here come the drones. And then when this fighting, right before this starts happening, right? Like when he brings his drones out here, I'm going to start attacking one of the drones in here with my SCV. Now you could use this SCV out here to, you know, help fight the drones and whatever. But I find, this guy's 2100 by the way. Okay, so this is like how high this shit can work. 8 racks is just really strong. I find that people just often get so focused on, you know, microing their drones that they forget that they're being attacked in here. And so I'm going to send him. We're going to pause here. Okay, so he starts attacking a drone right when this happens. Now, I usually try to pool up 3 Marines before I start engaging the drones. And so what you want to do here is you really want to pull back. I'm going to slow this down. Now, I'm target firing one of the drones with these Marines. And I'm going to start to spread the Marines away. And a really good Zerg player is going to pull the weak drones away. But it's hard to do for Zerg, right? Because they have to kind of keep attacking, and then they have to have all the drones selected. They got to click the weak drone, or maybe they're individually clicking it because they know they got to come back here and click it on a mineral to get it away. So from the Terran, this is much easier to execute as a Terran player than it is to defend as a Zerg player, is the point that I'm making. And I honestly feel like it's kind of, unless it's like really high level, I almost feel like it's inconsequential for Terran. I mean, you do have the 2 SCVs out here, so you need to get a couple drones. A couple to at least make it even at the very least. But this is a ton of lost mining time, so we're just going to slow down even more. So I'm targeting, and I'm just spreading the Marines and targeting 1 drone at a time, okay? Meanwhile, we've almost got a dead drone here. So let's just keep going. I'll select these. Spreading. See how they're kind of in a triangle? And I just keep moving them back. Okay, and then we got a drone here. We get another one. And the dude leaves the game. So, let me do another one. I did not ask PBJT if he cared if I did this, but I really don't think he'd care. We're just going to watch the beginning. But just so everyone knows ahead of time, PBJT has a massive winning record against me, and usually the only time I can beat him is if I get him with an 8 racks in the beginning of the game. So this isn't a jab at him. This just happens to be a recent game where there was an 8 racks. So we'll do the same thing. Radeon, I really don't like to. This is going to be embarrassing now that I think about it, because I really don't like to 8 racks on this map because you can't build out here. And so the reason I will do it on this spawn is because, you know, you can make the barracks. You can make the barracks as a part of your wall ahead of time. And then when the Marines come out, they don't get stuck, right? So like if you do it on a spawn where the barracks is on the bottom, like you're gonna go like depot, barracks, right? And you're gonna put a depot on top. Then when you make the Marines and you have them rallied up here, they kind of like they go around this way, they come back this way because they're blocked by the depot, and it actually takes longer and it makes a difference. So the embarrassing part for me in this game is that this barracks is actually off one hex to the right. It should have been over to the left a little bit more, so I can't actually fit my depot here for a proper wall. But we'll just pretend that never happened, and we'll ignore it. Point being is that you can still beat really good Zerg players even if you suck, because 8 racks is that strong. I think that's what this highlights, right? But if your 8 racks doesn't do it pretty good, I mean, realistically, I made a bunker after this because I did so much damage to the 8 racks. I expected a Ling all in once he noticed how terrible this wall is, which probably would have worked. I don't know if he noticed how bad this was. So it's the same thing as I described in the last video. Same timing with the way you're building everything. Same scouting pattern. You spread them out. Setting the Marines. Okay. See the base. So I bring this SCV back. I'm going to bring it with the boys. I don't know if pro gamers do this or not. Maybe they send this SCV back to mine. I bring it with the boys, like I said, because I like to attack the drones with this other one. So a little bit more economically risky on my end. So he pulls the boys. Okay. And like I said, I'm kind of waiting because I know when the Lings are going to make. I've got the SCV in the base. In this case, I kind of hold it on the ramp because I want to like maybe annoy the Lings that are going to come out. So he goes back. Probably because he's thinking maybe I'm going to make a bunker. And we're going to do the same thing here, right? So I'm going to... Let me just slow this down. I'm going to attack here. And this is like the exact same scenario, right? He comes in for the surround. I'm targeting one drone. And then I'm going to start to pull away. And I mean, like right there, for instance, you know, PBJT has a lot better drone micro than the last guy. And that's probably because I 8 racks him so often. But like when you go back and you watch these things, I mean, this is the kind of stuff you need to look for right here. Okay, so let's watch this part. Right here, I lose this Marine, and it's because I should have split this Marine off to the right. Okay, watch. Right there, this Marine should go this way, and this Marine should go down. Because I'm just letting him surround this. Right? And so he gets that Marine. Okay. I mean, you can tell that PBJT has way better drone micro than the last guy, right? He's only lost 2 drones so far. Okay, but the SCV's got 2 kills in here. And like I said, I find that... Let's see if I get another one. And I haven't even sent more than 3 Marines, by the way. I've just been making Marines at home, and now I'm making a command center. And I've been making SCVs this whole time, right? So we'll just stop here. Sorry, PB. PBJT is better than me, guys. I'm not trying to embarrass him. I can only beat him if I 8 racks him, or if I take a corner and make a massive amount of tanks and he gives up because he doesn't want to play a game for 2 hours long. But I just wanted to kind of talk about 8 racks a little bit, and I'm not going to make follow-up videos, guys, about what to do after. Not yet. I just don't feel confident in my TvZ really to give people advice beyond maybe the 8 racks or whatever, because this is... I recently started enjoying playing this matchup. I hated it for a long time, and I've been getting a little bit better at it, but I'm pretty bad at TvZ, and so I don't want to give bad advice. But for the most part, I follow up with 1 Raxacad. I like 1 Raxacad. And that's my usual follow-up in almost every TvZ that I play. Sometimes I 1-1-1, but it's hard for me. But yeah, and I think it's important to do this because... you know, even if you're a newer player, I mean, people will talk about multitasking and all this stuff, and it's like, look, hotkey this thing and just stack some SCVs. I mean, look, I got 220 minerals here, so it's like, you know, put 4 SCVs in here while you're microing, and then come home and then send the 4 SCVs to mine. I mean, what's the problem? I mean, if you have to stack like 4 SCVs, right, and that enables you to focus and kill 4 drones, awesome. You know, the SCVs are building, like you're not sending them to mine, but who cares at the end of the day? If you come back and you have 500 minerals after this engagement's over or whatever, and you didn't make your CC on 400, what do you fucking do? That's fine. I mean, if you get damage and, you know, because you focused on your units, that's worth it in my opinion. And I think the best thing about doing stuff like this is that this, in my opinion, this is massively helpful in TVP when you have to micro versus zealot. It's the same feature, right? You've usually got 3 Marines and like an SCV or 2, or maybe you got 2 Marines and 3 SCVs, and you're trying to fight a zealot. And you can kill 1 zealot without an SCV with 3 Marines if you split them, like how kind of I was doing versus the drones in a triangle. After the zealot hits them and you micro them away. And so this is really good practice for that too. In all of our matchups, TVT, TvZ, TVP, the first few units that we have as Terran players is like a couple Marines. And you can 8 racks in TVT. And it's really strong in TVT, especially because there's so much 15cc and CC first. So, I mean, I don't recommend 8 racksing versus Protoss, but I just mean that this practice with 8 racksing and microing these 3 Marines can go a long ways versus zealot openers. And it can go a long ways if you want to start 8 racksing people in TVT. So just learning how to properly micro these 3 Marines, going back through your replays, like how I was doing here, and just watching this in slow motion, because these are tough decisions to make in the moment, but this is like a pro gamer move right here, man. I mean, you literally, this guy should go this way, and this guy should go down here, and then he's probably gonna follow this Marine, right, and come down here, and this Marine would have lived, and I could have kept running this one away and not lost a Marine potentially. So also go back and watch this. You shouldn't let your stuff get surrounded, and I think if you want to get aggressive and do early micro openings, especially versus Zerg, this is a great way to do it. All right, peace later, boys.